So we thought that we'd include that. Last but not least, we're going to roll into something that not necessarily was announced recently, but is set to unfold in the next couple of weeks, which is Russia legalizing crypto mining in November. So on November 1st, Russia will legalize crypto mining, specifically Bitcoin. Okay. Now, the reason why we're so fixated on this, obviously, of course, I personally hold Bitcoin and I have for some time now. Again, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, but it's still in my portfolio. A lot of mainstream enthusiasts will tell you guys that Bitcoin's going away, that it has no utility, it has no intrinsic value. It's just, I don't know, it's just gold, right? Whatever. People don't really truly understand what's happening, and it's primarily because the mainstream does not tell you that Bitcoin mining is going to be utilized to scale out and make more efficient the electrical grid on a global scale. It's not just going to happen in the United States, it's going to happen everywhere. So I'm going to play some video clips from some industry leading experts with many more credentials than myself, tell you guys exactly what it is that I just mentioned. So, and I just find it interesting that Russia is going to legalize crypto mining. You have to think, why might that be? It's because they also see most likely the energy efficiency that Bitcoin mining creates. A lot of people and a lot of mainstream enthusiasts tell you, I know that you guys have heard this statistic before. Tell me you haven't. Bitcoin mining uses more energy than countries, right? Or countries like Argentina, right? How many times have you guys heard that statistic that it's bad for energy because it uses too much energy, when in reality, it actually creates, Bitcoin mining creates more energy than it uses. Okay. So let's listen to some perspectives from some of these industry leading experts. It's, in my personal opinion, extremely bullish for the space and just solidifies the longevity of Bitcoin and that it actually has utility. But it does not have utility, in my personal opinion, for payments. It has utility for things outside of payments, which is yet again a massive niche. Making the electrical grid more efficient, especially here in the United States. I being firsthand, I had worked on that as a private contractor when I got out of the military back in 2018. I worked for one of the largest electrical companies in the United States as a private contractor. I know for a fact that the electrical grid in the United States is vulnerable and it needs a massive upgrade. All right. And these individuals that are talking on stage discuss exactly that. So let's jump in, let's share screen, and let's just play a couple of video clips. And then I'll end it with letting them tell you guys their bullish price predictions for the remainder of this year and into 2025. Let me just share screen so you guys can see this, and we will listen to some of these perspectives. Okay, so let's just see who's talking on stage real fast. Let me see if I can see that portion. All right, well, we'll skip introductions because it doesn't show all their names on stage. But long story short, they are all industry leading representatives, CEOs, CTOs, co-founders of these large Bitcoin mining companies in the United States. So we're going to listen to some perspectives. Keep in mind that the mainstream perspective about Bitcoin is that it has no utility, it has no use case, and that it's going away. If you're listening to that, you're not doing enough research, and you can tell right off the bat that if you believe that, you are listening to biased, opinionated influencers that lack education. Because I can guarantee you that people that have told you that on Twitter or YouTube do not have as many credentials and do not know as much information as these people on stage that are about to tell you the exact opposite on how massive that mining is going to be to enhance the electrical grid. So let's take a second and let's listen to these industry leading experts.
Etc., taking positions for the first time in many cases in some of these companies. Maybe we start at the end. How is Iron thinking about the energy, AI kind of power convergence with Bitcoin, and what is your strategy for addressing the market?
Yeah, the digital world's growing exponentially. We all know that. We actually had in our seed deck in 2018, like AI growth is one of the core components of our business. Obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen in the last couple of years, but we, as it grows exponentially, we knew that infrastructure can't grow exponentially. We had a lot of infrastructure people, the founders, specifically Dan Roberts through Palisade Palisade Investments and Macquarie, just knew how hard it was to build large-scale infrastructure, how slow it was. It takes a long time for governments and bureaucracies to approve connections and the like, especially in power. It takes a long time to find the right land and to procure. I mean, you try and procure medium voltage switchgears at the moment or anything else, it takes many, many months. So you can't rush that process. So the arbitrage between the physical world and the digital world, which grows exponentially, is just so significant that the opportunities are there for longer than in other markets. They don't last like mere months or maybe a couple of years. They last for a long time because of until the supply and demand catches up with each other. So with AI, obviously the growth over the last 1 to 2 years continues. I think the top 10 HPC companies in the world have spent $380 billion on infrastructure this year, which is $50 billion more than they spent over the past 3 years combined. That just shows the growth. It's real, and it's not stopping soon.
Patrick?
Yeah, look, I agree with everything Glenn just said, but I always try to put it into context for folks. So I spent the majority of my career as a institutional buy-side investor in energy, power, and commodities. And so when everyone's talking about tech now and the growth of high-power compute and AI, they talk, like Glenn said, like it's just easy to do. So let me just put that into context. So roughly speaking, today in the United States, there's about 20 gigawatts of data center demand. That's cloud, high power compute, and AI. That is projected in 4 to 5 years, depending upon what source you reference, to double, so to go to 40. To put that into context from a power perspective, California, state we all know, not so far from, is the 5th largest economy in the world, and it has an 85 gigawatt grid. Okay, so 5th largest economy, 85 gigawatt grid, and we're talking about high power compute, data centers, and AI consuming half of the power of the 5th largest economy in the world, in the US. So that is fundamentally going to change the way power flows, the way we all use power, the price of power, which obviously, more demand means it's inflationary. And so I think exactly like Glenn mentioned, what's unique about our company is we've taken former power plants and converted them to Bitcoin mining and data centers. And that means we have a lot of existing infrastructure from which to leverage. So exactly to Glenn's point, the utility system in the US is very slow. And so it puts a massive premium on companies that have the interconnects and that have access to power today.
So this gentleman operates a nuclear Bitcoin mining facility, and he just mentioned that they have taken multiple electrical grids that pre-existed and turned them into Bitcoin mining facilities. The reason why I'm playing this is to get you guys to see that the perspectives of the masses that lack education and don't do research think that Bitcoin has no utility and that it's going away. And I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. It is not going to be utilized for payments, but it is going to be utilized to enhance the electrical grid through its mining capabilities and the energy that it generates from mining, right? So don't listen to the mainstream enthusiasts that tell you guys that Bitcoin has no utility. I agree 110%. I don't think it's going to be utilized for payments, but is it going to be utilized for other things? When you do deeper research, which is why we do this for you guys at CYPRX. For example, this video 5 days ago only has 300 views, is to show you guys that the minds of the masses are manipulated and swayed by opinions of people that have no credentials in this space. And that's what's messed up about this current crypto ecosystem on Twitter and YouTube, is that the vast amount of retail investors are taking information from kids that live in their basement that can't even watch a 30-minute video so they can truly educate themselves on perspectives from some of the largest industry-leading experts in this game. Do you think that anybody on Twitter that has a couple 100,000 followers or whatever the case may be because they popped off in the last bull market cycle have more credentials than this guy who works at a nuclear facility? No, most likely not, right? So just take that into consideration where you're gathering your information from and just do deeper research, which is what we try to portray here at CYPRX and try to push to you guys, and why we're writing these reports, why we're going to start doing these calls. And again, hundreds of fundamentals like this are shared in our CYPRX private Discord. So let's move on. Let's go into 14 minutes and 34 seconds where they continue to talk about the electrical grid and Bitcoin mining.
As there's a history of Marathon being an asset-light company, and years ago, our CEO and chairman at that time raised $750 million from capital markets and deployed that capital to buy miners at attractive prices at that time. and rented space, rack space, and operated that way. Beginning of this year, we announced 2 major acquisitions with 3 data centers here in the United States, with 690 megawatts of operational capacity, and further expandable to 900, almost a gigawatt in terms of capacity. So with that, now we are 50-50 split between asset light and asset heavy. What that has allowed us to do is to be more efficient from an operating perspective, deploying our state-of-the-art technology, but also finding those opportunities where we can do the energy arbitrage. Now, one thing to realize is that this is a known secret in this industry. Bitcoin miners do act as an intermittent power consumers. We do act as the balancing factor to the grid, and that is a very important aspect, because when we compare this to AI and other industries where you have baseload electricity, you need 24 hours of electricity. You can't be driving your Tesla and suddenly your service went down and your auto driving self-feature stopped as a result of that. In this case, you have that intermittency capability that is a strength in this industry. So having said that, from Amara's perspective, we view ourselves not only from a Bitcoin mining efficiency perspective, but also the technology stack. So we have built our own firmware. For example, we run and own our own operating pool, Mara pool, for years. We believe that has provided us the efficiency levels that is a competitive advantage compared to others in the mining space. But
so 2 things. Number one, he just mentioned that they are doing what? Maintaining a competitive advantage. The reason why I ended this as the last video, to full circle how we started off this document, we talked about the city document that mentioned companies that remain competitive will have an advantage over companies that do not. We heard that industry leading experts from the IMF, from the ICC mentioned that companies must remain competitive. Countries must remain competitive, right? Think about what I'm showing you guys right now. This gentleman just said that they're utilizing Bitcoin mining to balance out the energy grid, okay? And I just also showed you guys that Bitcoin mining is about to become legal in Russia on November 1st. Why do you think that is? Do you realistically speaking think like that Bitcoin's going away when these people are telling you the complete opposite? No, the mainstream masses are so deluded into thinking that this is not, that Bitcoin is some, oh, it's going to go away, it's going to go to zero. You got to stop thinking like that. And instead, you got to do research and you got to start tapping in. Mr. Aqua actually just commented, too bad he's not on this call. I didn't want to wake him up this morning because I started this pretty early and he's 2 hours behind. But he said Bitcoin mining and other proof of work assets are the future of energy consumption. And that is a fact. Like, you guys really got to start to do this research. The people that are telling you that Bitcoin is going away, it's going to zero on social media and all that stuff, they don't have as many credentials as these people sitting on stage. Could you imagine if you went into a private meeting with these people that have invested billions of dollars into this infrastructure, right? Buying land, buying real estate, buying equipment to run the the electrical grid in such a way where it runs off of Bitcoin mining. They would literally laugh at you, call you a clown, and tell you to get out of their private meeting. Think about that, okay? Think about that. I'm telling you guys right now, you got to tap into the research that we're doing here at CYPRX. So let's play another video clip, because these next 3 video clips are massive. So we're going to go to 21 minutes and 20 seconds. And again, listen to what this guy says. Please, if you're still here, smash that thumbs up and subscribe. Listen to what this guy says about how much money one of the largest organizations that every single person, most likely listening to this call right now, 1,000 people, one of the largest organizations that all 1,000 people have most likely used, have invested into Bitcoin mining. And ask yourself the question, why on earth would this large organization that every single person on this call right now, I guarantee, has used at least once in their life, be investing in Bitcoin mining if it was going away? Take a second and let's listen to what this gentleman says.
One of the nation's largest nukes. That's that facility. Yeah, so very different approach, I think, than for all of us up here.
What's the source of your power, though, too?
Yeah, so we are behind the meter at one of the nation's largest nukes. That facility is called Susquehanna. It's a 2,500 megawatt nuke in western Pennsylvania. We actually, some of you may have seen it in the news, but Amazon recently bought that site from our partner. So they are actually our new landlord. They paid $650 million for land and a substation and the right to purchase up to 700 megawatts from the nuke in the future. Right? That should be a big light bulb going off, that the biggest companies in the world recognize that we are in a power struggle here, and access to low cost, zero carbon, and uninterruptible power is the key to the game. We also mine at another site that's a retired coal plant site.
I feel like I don't have to play any other videos after that one. This man just said that Amazon, which I can guarantee you all 1,034 people listening to this call right now have used in their lifetime, invested $650 million into a Bitcoin mining site because they understand that this is the future. Do you guys have $650 million? You're going to get what I'm saying, right? So the big players understand what's happening, while as the small, minuscule, opinionated retail idiots that keep telling you guys that Bitcoin's going away or it's going to zero, or it's not going to be important in the future, okay? Those are the people you should not be paying attention to. Instead, you should be paying attention to the things that me and Mr. Aqua have put out, where just recently on Aerodrome, you can now take your Bitcoin and you can go and put it into a liquidity pool and you can start earning and generating passive income, right? Which is, again, something that I'm looking into doing because I hold Bitcoin. Instead of fighting the system and thinking that it's all going to go away or go to zero or be skeptical about it, you should move with the changing times and understand where the money is going. The money, you can clearly see, is going into Bitcoin mining to some degree. And I'm not, again, I don't want to sound like, hey, people thinking that I'm like some Bitcoin maxi. I'm not. I'm just trying to get you guys to see that what you're listening to in the mainstream is most likely garbage, guys and gals. And hopefully through these research documents and these live calls that myself and some of the other CYPRX researchers are going to commit our time to, you all see that. So last but not least, I mentioned to you guys that I play a price prediction that these people give. But just to do a recap real fast, because now we have 1,046 people listening and tapping into today's call, let's just do a real fast recap of everything that we've gone over so that way you guys can catch up and see what it is that we are talking about that we've discussed so far. Give me just 1 second. Let's go in and let's share screen. So overall, the reason why we're going to start doing these reports is because here at CYPRX, we are committed to giving you guys real in-depth analysis and research on blockchain innovations, industry applications, geopolitical trends, smart contracts, Web3, DeFi ecosystems from a non-opinionated and biased perspective. As you guys have seen, everything that we covered in today's report was all from large organizations, the biggest names in the world telling you guys these things. We started off with this document from Citi, where we confirmed two things. In this document, it confirmed that organizations and countries must remain competitive. It also mentioned word for word, look at this, it says right here, the more that they have delivered, the more that the industry has learned about where and how they must continue to invest. So this is a document from 2024 telling you guys that institutions must continue to invest in digital assets, distributed ledger technology, blockchain organizations, so on and so forth, if they want to remain competitive, right? You just heard at the end of the call now, the gentleman from the Bitcoin mining facility mentioning that they are remaining competitive. I played 3 video clips. I played an individual representative from the IMF, the director, monetary and capital markets, mentioned that these organizations have to remain competitive if they want to remain relevant in this new digital landscape. Then we heard an individual director of the ICC mention the same exact thing, that if you want to remain relevant in this space, you have to remain competitive. So as a retail investor, what do you think you should be doing? Remaining competitive, learning how to make your digital assets work for you, growing your wealth in the now, staying on top of developments, and stop being so fixated on, oh, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to take my income that I'm earning. I'm going to buy XRP. I'm going to put it in my cold storage wallet. I'm going to wait for the next bull market cycle. That is lazy. That is the most laziest approach. That is so 2019, 2020. We're out of that era. Okay. We're in an era of information and education. And if you're not applying yourself properly, you're not remaining competitive, right? Then last but not least, of the first part of this video clip, we played David Cunningham. He went on to mention, since this is a Citi document, right? This is a representative from Citi that mentioned, for those of us who are patient and have a long-term perspective, trillions of dollars are coming. He mentioned 250 trillion. He mentioned 16 trillion. He mentioned trillions. Okay. So I just wanted to solidify the long-term perspective that these large organizations know exactly that. Then we talked about how large jurisdictions like El Salvador are fixated on digital asset adoption and how it's revolutionized and just enhanced their whole entire country. Okay. Embracing digital assets, the future of finance. We covered this case study. We talked about the CV-19 pandemic and how it made a push for digital adoption and transformation, and how that was just the beginning of this massive demand for these new digital innovative technologies. Okay. Then we touched on artificial intelligence and how a World Economic Forum document from September 2024 mentioned that 70% or 72% of individuals surveyed in this report believe that in 3 years, artificial intelligence is set to replace jobs, right? Now, at the same time that this report's coming out, we're also seeing coexisting developments where treaties are being signed from the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union, and many other jurisdictions solidifying artificial intelligence regulations. Okay, so it just all coexists. And the reason why we share this is to get you guys to see that now is the time to learn how to make your digital assets work for you. Hopefully your job does not get replaced, but wouldn't you like to learn how to earn passive income enough to where you can make a sustainable living off of the digital assets that you already hold, right? So then we rolled into DeFi. After showing you guys that digital assets aren't going away anywhere, that artificial intelligence is set to replace a lot of jobs in the future. To what extent or what reach that's going to have, who knows? We don't have a crystal ball, but we're showing you guys that it is happening. We talked about Velodrum, one of the projects that we're paying attention to. We talked about an XDC DeFi project that we're paying attention to, right? We mentioned and showed you guys that the ICC, again, which is one of the industry leading experts that we just showed you guys a video from up here, mentioning that you need to remain competitive, right? This is an ICC webinar from 2024. How do we start revolutionizing the existing global digital trade finance landscape? In an ICC document from just a couple of days ago, this is from September 2024, they directly mention XDC Trade Network for facilitating faster access to trade finance and liquidity. So what we're trying to get you guys to see why we're fixated on developments in the DeFi space surrounding XDC is because we don't want to sell our XDC in the future for fiat currency. We want to take our XDC, maybe when it's worth $1, maybe when it's worth $1.50 or beyond, whoever knows whatever your price prediction is, and we want to use it to generate passive income. And there are solutions in the DeFi ecosystem like Prime Finance that allow you to do that. Now, we're not deployed on Prime Finance right now, but we're paying attention to these developments. Then we moved into the XRPL. We talked about Anato Finance, right? And the new vault that they just created and announced, where users, again, can take their XRP, they can deploy it onto this platform, and they can generate passive income utilizing their XRP. So same thing like XDC. I don't want to sell my XRP in the future for fiat currency and get stuck back in the traditional system when everything's moving digital and all these financial institutions are coming into this digital asset landscape. What the heck? That makes no sense. I want to hold my XRP, give it to my kids, and all the XRP that I've given to my children that's deployed on these DeFi protocols or ecosystems, I'm taking that passive income while my kids are holding on to my digital assets for maybe their kids and so on and so forth. That's my plan. And through the power of understanding, proper education, and paying attention to these developments, we are going to be able to do that here at CYPRX. Okay. Can't say the same for everybody else that's most likely going to get wrecked the next bull market cycle because they think they're going to sell their digital assets for fiat and survive long-term 2030 and beyond. You are sadly mistaken, people. Telling you guys right now, you got to get tapped in. Then we rolled over into hopefully switching everybody's mindset from, oh, Bitcoin has no utility, oh, it's going to zero, to showing you guys that the largest organizations in the world are telling you all that Bitcoin mining is balancing out the energy grid and it's set to enhance the energy grid moving forward, right? You guys heard the individual representatives say that Amazon, which almost every single person I can guarantee you has at least ordered one thing from Amazon or knows what Amazon is on this call right now, invested just recently $650 million into a Bitcoin mining facility. Well, not into a Bitcoin mining facility, but they bought the land that the Bitcoin mining facility exists on. That should speak numbers to people that think that Bitcoin is going away, okay? Then we also showed you guys this fundamental where Russia is legalizing crypto mining come up November 1st, which just kind of full circles, where at the beginning of this call, we mentioned that countries, organizations, and hopefully now you all understand that retail traders must remain competitive, okay? So now let's just end this call here and let's tap in and let's listen to their bullish prediction for the future of Bitcoin. Now it's fixated on Bitcoin, but when you hear these numbers over the next consecutive couple of years that they think are going to materialize for the price action of Bitcoin, you can only imagine where the prices of these other digital assets, like these altcoins that are 80 to 90% discounted from their all-time highs that have utility that we've just mentioned, are going to go in the future. Okay, so let's listen to that real fast, and then I will end the call for today. Really do appreciate you guys for tapping in. As always, make sure that you're subscribed to the platform if you're listening to this as a recording. Smash that thumbs up button, and let's dive into this price prediction here. Let's go to 31 minutes and 39 seconds. It's going to be, I think it's going to play like all of their perspectives, so it's going to be quite extensive, but just listen. Let's listen to what they say here.
Creating Bitcoin further from here as we go along.
Red, Zach, I'm gonna.
Yeah, strategy over ideology, flexibility, and those are the key things. And what I mean by strategy over ideology, this industry is full of ideology, and that usually it has to do with holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet, buying Bitcoin for the balance sheet. We don't buy Bitcoin on our balance sheet because we believe that miners are there to produce it at a lower cost, and that's the value we bring to the market, is produce it, for 40,000 and take the margin. We do add it to our balance sheet currently. We didn't a year ago. So we are watching the bear and bull cycles. We're big believers in the cycle. As you mentioned, our focus on timing. We believe in growing the hardest and heaviest during bear cycles. And now as we build into this bull cycle, which, I think I made it pretty clear as I've spoken about it, I believe kicks off sometime between September and January. And so that's why we're holding our Bitcoin. We started holding all of our Bitcoin last June. And there will be a point in the next cycle where we sell it and we monetize it, because that's the reason we're holding it. We believe that we should mine Bitcoin, hold it on the balance sheet, eventually sell it so that we can get more Bitcoin in the future. And we are going to follow the cycle. A value of Bitcoin is actually using it, putting it out into places where it can be used by everybody else. We're not necessarily here just to hoard the Bitcoin. Does it mean we're going to dump it off a cliff? No. Our goal is to monetize it. So again, we are not ideological. Instead, we're strategic, because we believe that's the best way for a company where we have a fiduciary duty to manage our capital. And then flexibility. We have no debt. We're not going to leverage ourselves up to do, many things. And that's going to allow us again to weather the bear cycle. We want to be in a bear market and buying distressed assets. We don't want to be the distressed asset. And with a market that's this volatile, you have to prepare. And the last thing I'd say is business track record. We, as Mike said, we've been the fastest growing miner. We came on the scene, with zero in December of 2020. We're now the second largest by market cap and also by hash rate. And, on a mission to continue growing that in the most capital efficient way possible.
And you certainly addressed one of the things I hear a lot from investors, which is why not just own MicroStrategy? Of course, MicroStrategy has to use the capital markets to acquire Bitcoin. It's not part of their core business model, whereas the miners have the operating leverage embedded in the model itself. But Glenn, your thoughts on why people should own Iron?
Yeah, so we've currently got two businesses.
So I wanted to capitalize on what he said. He said during bear cycles, you should, or I can't say you, but he is fixated, his organization is fixated on buying distressed assets. Think about where we're at right now in the market cycle. Okay. These utility-driven assets that are being mentioned by large organizations like the ICC as having utility, like for example, XTC, are significantly discounted from its all-time high. Take that into consideration moving forward, that the risk to reward is there right now, but people are so fearful because of the current volume and volatility or lack thereof in the market that their ideology about the space is just so distraught, when in reality they should be strategic. Okay, be strategic in your investments and not opinionated and fixated on all these biases from these retail investors that realistically speaking don't know what they're talking about. I'm trying to find the place where they start to talk about the Bitcoin prices. Give me a second.
Full cycle kicks off between September and June.
Okay, here we
the
go.
elongated cycle. How are you thinking about the cycle, just as quickly as possible? either in terms of timing, timeline, price ranges? Let's start with Zach.
I said mine. I think the bull cycle kicks off between September and January, and I think we've got a good cycle. What I like now is our intention is it doesn't matter as a company. We've set ourselves up to be. We always look at it, if we're the 25% percentile when it comes to efficiency, power prices, and everything else. Bitcoin price can be whatever it needs to be, and we'll be fine. It's the difference of surviving and thriving. And, we're looking forward to, again, hopefully a early year, late winter kind of kickoff in a bull cycle. And if we're wrong, then we're good anyway.
Got it.
I think there are lots of tailwinds in this space, and Bitcoin price, agree with Zach, the price is expected to go up as we go along from here. The key thing to think about is in the short run, there are some nuances like the Mt. Gox, the U.S. Selling the Bitcoin and all that stuff, and then there's political drama around it as well. You've got one presidential candidate supporting it fully, and then you've got another who's yet to disclose their position on this. So there's a lot of interesting things in the next couple of months. But listen, we have bought Bitcoin years ago. We are the largest miner. We are targeting 50 exahash in the next couple of months, which puts us in a different position altogether. We are growing globally. We're continuing to invest in our mining business, but also we are diversifying our revenues through technology and other opportunities. At the same time, the Bitcoin hodl on our balance sheet is the highest from a dollar Bitcoin per share perspective after MicroStrategy, and that gives our investors that opportunity to earn the upside as the Bitcoin price goes up, and at the same time earn the arbitrage or opportunity to earn rate of returns from our Bitcoin mining business. So very excited about that.
Yeah, look, I get asked this question all the time by institutional investors, and I can tell you if I knew, I wouldn't be sitting right here right now, right?
Still might though.
So look, I again, having spent a career in commodities, I wish I knew where oil was going to be or where Bitcoin price or network hash rate was going to be. But I don't. And what I do know, and I'm always reminded, there's a quote I really like, and I tell my children this all the time, by Zig Ziglar, which is, success is when preparation meets opportunity. So the only thing I can control in my business is my cost. So I'm laser focused on making sure we are the most efficient miner that we can possibly be. If I can control my cost, then when the bull cycle comes, I'm in great shape. I'm going to make a lot of money. And so that's really like what we focus on. And I hope it comes. I hope it comes hard and fast. And Bitcoin price rallies, but I just don't know. And so again, we really try to just internally focus on doing everything we possibly can to prepare for that. So when the moment comes, we can kind of seize the moment.
Great, Glenn.
I think you could maybe just.
I want to capitalize on something that he just said, right? Taking advantage of opportunity so that way, when the moment does come, you're prepared for it. Stop being so fixated on, oh my gosh, prices are going down. I'm so worried about my current portfolio and this, and that. Start focusing on leveraging opportunities that are available to you in the now to grow and expand your wealth. So that way you are well positioned for the next bull market cycle, which is clearly not happening today. It's clearly not happening tomorrow. Maybe we're in the midst of that. Maybe we're not. Regardless of that opinion, how are you preparing yourself now in your portfolio to experience life-changing wealth in the next bull market cycle? Whether that's through, hodling, whatever your strategy is, or whether that's through, leveraging DeFi protocols, which is what we are doing here at CYPRX. We are utilizing DeFi to generate passive income, to take that passive income and build bigger bags for our long-term bags. We're positioning ourselves now so that way whenever, again, because everybody's price prediction and everybody's date is different, okay? We're positioning ourselves so that way no matter what date that date is, whenever it does come, we are prepared. You should be taking the same strategic approach, right? Preparing yourself now, whatever that preparation is in your mind, do that now, not 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The time is now. Like I reiterated back at the beginning when we were talking through our document, the time is now to invest in digital assets, not 3 years from now, 4 years from now, after regulations come in. That makes no sense. We have an upper hand against institutions right now who are hindered and stalled by the lack of regulatory clarity. We as retail investors don't have those restrictions, right? So do your research, right? You can invest wisely. Okay? There are strategies that you can take, an approach to not get wrecked in this market. There's so many things that I could go on with by discussing that, but again, to each his own. Okay, I can't give you guys financial advice. I can ask that you do your research, you educate yourself, you stop being so opinionated on the now, and instead start focusing on the future and how you can survive long term, how you can remain competitive. So there's that.
December 25 is the peak a while ago. I don't know if that memory is true, but yeah, I think that might be close to where I think it will be as well. Obviously, I don't know where it's going either. Markets hate uncertainty. You got the US election coming up. I just think there's a lot of uncertainty around that, to be honest, at the moment. So I don't think it's going to move in the very short term. There's been a huge amount of consolidation this year, but you compare Bitcoin to a year ago, like the fundamental analysis of Bitcoin as an asset class is so much more valuable this year than this time last year. It was like 12 months ago. Think about what you were doing 12 months ago. How many institutional investors have got access to the ETF or have purchased MicroStrategy or purchased the miners? I mean, there's a lot of powerful people, a lot of powerful institutions with a lot of say, and the governments and the like. So I just feel like the asset class is so much more valuable now. The price hasn't really reflected that. Consolidation this year has been huge. 600,000 to 700,000 coins from liquidated entities and the like have been sold. So that has to play out. It always takes longer than we think it's going to play out. But I think next year will be a good year.
Good. Thank you for those comments. I think it's a really critical time to be invested in this space. I think we just had a nice drawdown over the last month. So for people who haven't taken positions yet, I even got calls from crypto hedge funds who said, "I'm so sick of these freaking tokens that won't go up. Can you tell me more about Bitcoin miners?" So people like the tangibility of it, the fact that they can hold hard assets. You can actually build a margin of safety, like classic value.
All right, so we'll end it there. As always, many blessings to you guys. None of the information that I displayed to you guys is financial advice, regardless if it was Bitcoin, XDC, XRP, Velo we talked about. Remember, always do your own personal research and assess your risk properly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Remember, moving forward, we're going to have some of the other CYPRX researchers hosting these types of calls for you guys, reading through our weekly reports that we type out and draft for the private community members, condensing some of the information that we find and disclose in the CYPRX Discord. If you guys want access to hundreds, I'm literally not even exaggerating, hundreds of fundamentals that never reach the mainstream, that are unbiased, unopinionated, and are just straight facts, research from these large organizations, countries, jurisdictions that have these insights from, a much more logical perspective, then tap in. We'd love to have you on the team. Visit CYPRXtrading.com. If you guys are interested in learning more about DeFi and you want to take a more mature approach to grow and expand your wealth in the now and learn how to earn passive income by deploying the digital assets that you currently hold, head over to CYPRXtrading.com. Again, Wealth 28 Club is there for you guys. Loads of educational value and video related content teaching you guys how we are leveraging our digital assets to earn passive income. And with that being said, as always, I will see you guys in the next video breakdown.